Welcome to the Jungle Brothers podcast. You're here with Paul Fotofili, Joe Worthington, Sheila Reward.
Hello.
And our guest today is Aaron Howley.
Hello.
Coach Azza.
Coach Azza.
You're a man.
You're one. You're a man.
You're a man.
You're a man. Yep, we're here at Jungle Brothers.
Yeah, 15 Underwood Avenue, Botany.
Drop it on him.
Coolest gym in Australia.
Certified.
The pride of the South.
Hell yeah.
Hashtag Botany Strong. You can find us at junglebrothers.com. And if you want to get in touch, just hit us up. We're open. You know, we'd love to chat with new people. We just had an intern start up from Holland, so he's been following our shit from the other side of the world. So no place on the globe is safe. If you need help, we're there for you.
Come down face to face.
Yeah, come see us. Or
like a man or a woman.
At Jungle Brothers Movement on Instagram. It's the big one. Yeah. What's been going on? Catch me up. T-Bone, you had a movie screening.
Mate, we had a screening. We started a small group within the gym.
It's not a training group. It's like a committee almost.
It is called the Jungle Brothers Sustainability Think Tank. So what we're focusing on is making some sustainable changes to our lifestyles and sharing those changes amongst each other. And we'll be taking action on 3 different tiers. We have global action, which will be involved in just lobbying and strikes and stuff like that to help push our civilization toward a cleaner, healthier future, because that's the business that we're in. We're in the business of health. And then we have the second tier, which is just local action. So that means getting involved in projects down at the local park, planting trees, cleaning up plastic on the beach. But we'll also be combining that with like surf trips and going out the desert, camping out there, watching stars, but then visiting local communities and just seeing what the effects of climate change have on these people, and then learning more about how to plant, how to live a more sustainable.
Correct.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
And then how we can also integrate that into our business model, which we are currently doing. We're now running off the grid. We have 48 panels on our roof. We're not just off the fucking grid. We're running Sydney.
That's right.
There's enough power pumping out of this place.
We've had it for almost
we are producing that
a year.
shit.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been 12 months.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
and we've saved a fortune doing
remember
it.
when it went in and that's great.
We got
Funny because you don't see them because the
You
roof's
hardly
so
think
high,
about
so
it.
you forget about them.
forget about it. But we're just chewing up power here and producing it.
We
even
just got
more
hair
for-
dryers and shit running 24/7 over here. Free power.
That's right, and it's all coming off the sun. And then we've got all of our gym community. That's a third tier, which is the stuff within the gym. So people that like Beck, who has a degree in engineering, who was on one of our podcasts, and a whole bunch of other people that have different skill sets that they bring, and they'll do talks on how to conserve food conservation. So we're talking about fermenting our veggies instead of chucking them out, how to put stuff back into the soil and grow and all this fucking awesome stuff.
Very cool.
Really,
Nice.
at the end of the day.
There's obviously a lot of depth to that. When do you, like, say, talking about a trip to a community out to the desert or whatever, when do you think something like that might happen? Is that in the next 12 months kind of thing?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we have events. So the last event was our screening for Chasing Coral, and that was just looking at the effects of coral bleaching, and then obviously what's causing it, and then how we had a chat about after how we as individuals can have a big impact on our local environment, which in turn is the same environment that everybody lives in. And the most important thing is that it's not a political issue, because people keep kind of putting this subject in certain baskets. It's a central issue, and it's an issue of health. So if you sit there looking at nutrition, and you sit there looking at your sleep and your meditation and your training, and then you overlook the fact that your oxygen and your fucking water is filthy and dirty, then this is a big oversight, because they're the fundamentals of health. Yeah? Would you agree?
I would agree. I mean, it's a powerful statement.
So yeah, we're in the health business, so we want to make sure that we're covering all areas.
I'm so excited for this, for all of us, and also just for you, because I think everyone can already tell that you're very passionate about it.
Yeah. Well, we got kids, bro. You know.
I know. Yeah.
We got kids.
I'm stoked.
They'll figure it out, mate. They'll figure it out.
It's not our fucking problem.
Yeah, the kids, mate. Those kids are already smarter than us, mate. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
So that's been us. Yeah. So this trip to the desert, that'll probably happen start of next year, kind of thing. We'll probably go out around winter, actually. So it'll be mid next year, I should say. But yeah, it's all starting to map out and go into a schedule. So if you're interested, reach out. You don't even have to be a member of the gym to be part of this community, by the way.
Outsiders are accepted.
Yeah. So we're at Jungle Brothers Sustainability Think Tank. It is a group on Facebook. You can look those up. Yeah.
And yeah. Is it Jungle Brothers or JB?
Jungle Brothers.
Jungle Brothers.
Should I change that to JB?
No. I think that's good. I like that, Jungle Brothers. It's clear.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, get on it. Well done.
Oh, cheers, bro. Nice.
We got Big Azza.
Yes.
Mate, you want to give us a little intro just on you as a person, who you are and where you're at, what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a coach here, obviously, at the gym, and I've been living I'm originally from Ireland. Came over here about 3.5 years ago.
Me too. I just came from Ireland too.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm your man.
You've been working on that accent.
I'm working on my accent.
It's still terrible.
It's coaching me
still terrible. We'll get you there.
You, bro. Fuck you. No.
Yeah, so I guess I grew up like a little bit similar to yourself in that I was playing, I was a kid that was crazy about ball sports and just grew up playing football, running after footballs basically every hour of the day throughout my childhood. Yeah, they were my main sports was soccer and Gaelic football. So I grew up playing them. That was obviously my first exposure to to sports. I was quite serious into that. I was fairly serious up until a point. My dad was a big influence. He played at a pretty high level, and so he had a big influence on me there. And I sort of stepped into that and then played all the way through school. Came through school, went in, done a bit of work for a while. Was working in the family business, which was my dad's business, is a butcher shop. So he's a butcher shop at home. It was actually he's open now 28 years. So a little small family business.
What's it called? What's the name of the biz?
It's just Howley's Family Butchers.
Howley's Family. That's so cool.
Yeah. So
get us some t-shirts.
Nice, really, really nice little shop, and it's it's quality. That's what he's all about. So it's that's evident when you walk in there. So he's always been about that, and does everything sort of the old-fashioned way, and does everything the right way. Yeah, so I sort of went into that after school. I sort of fell into that. Done that for I think about 6 years altogether. Got qualified, obviously, and then from there. So I was working with my dad for about 4 years, and then I went out on my own, working for another company. I was working for them, running a shop, like managing a shop for them. I'd done that for a year. And then I sort of had enough of that. I was like, I liked the work, but it was I didn't want to do it forever, basically. So then I was like, right, I'm gonna do a bit of traveling. So I decided to set off to Australia, myself and my girlfriend, and that was about 3.5 years ago. And then that was when I really transitioned into the fitness industry. When I came over here, got my first job in a gym in Maroubra, worked there for 2 years. And then sort of met you guys.
Got headhunted.
Yeah, pretty much. I met you guys maybe an hour, maybe about a year and a half into my time in Australia, and then and then eventually obviously made the move over here, and I'm about a year here full time now. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Very cool, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you came through Instagram. Hey. Yeah. You messaged.
I messaged you. It was you that responded. I was working as I said, I was working in the other gym for about 2 years, and I had gotten on really, it was my first serious job in the industry. So, very grateful for the opportunity, and it was a good little gym, but like the time I'd worked, probably a bit too long there. I was looking for an out, wasn't sure what the route would be, but, basically it ended up that I got myself a car, and then I was able to travel up to Botany. So as soon as I got myself a car, I said, right, I'm going to go up and check out this gym, because I had been following you guys since I got here, on Instagram and whatever. And then as soon as I got the car, I was like, right, I'm going to go up there and check out the space and see, can I just do my own bit of training there? And that was when I came up. I'd done a few sessions with you.
Yeah.
We went through some stuff, and then I sort of was training here, like just during the day, so in between my sessions at the other gym. And then that's how it started.
Groomed us.
He groomed us?
He groomed us.
Or did we groom him?
We thought we groomed him, but it sounds now like he
Now,
groomed us.
I played yours.
Years.
We saw you on the Emmett Lewis workshop though, yeah?
Yeah. That was about a year and a half.
Oh, he was that inflexible guy.
No, that was I think that was T.
That's right, it was too.
It was T. That was
Still
about
that
a
guy.
That was about a year and a half into. I was still working at the other gym, and that was the first time. That was in the old place, and Emmett was doing a workshop there, and I was obviously interested in learning more about mobility, because something that I'm interested in. I was doing it more so just to educate myself and how to look after my own body and improve my own mobility. That's what I was looking to get out of it. And we went. I went there, and T and Paul were there, and Alan was there as well with his wife Mel. And so I briefly said hello. I don't think we had a conversation as such. It was just more of a.
It's pretty intimidating when you meet the Jungle Brothers for the first time.
Especially T. He's a bit of a stern looking
eyes.
face. Yeah, but then when you talk to him, he's a big teddy bear, so it's all good. So.
Rock hard teddy bear. Made of porcelain.
Like hugging a piece of fucking concrete.
So that was when I met them. That was when I met you first, and then obviously he's moved into the new space, and it was just after he's moved into the new space that I came up for my first actual session. This space.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
And haven't looked back, and we've been very, very grateful having you on board. We've been very happy with the progress, and it's been awesome so far. You're not going anywhere, bro. Keeps talking about it, but
No, contract's been signed. It's done. You're an asset, bro. It's good, and you've come a long way in a short space of time with your beers and with your training and all those things.
Yeah, looking back on it, it has been a pretty short space of time, like only 3.5 years. So I'm still pretty fresh in the game. I've been running my own business for about a year now. And that's gone well. That was obviously a big step. I sort of had that safety net in my old job of just getting a paycheck every.
They'd get the clients in, and then
they get the clients in. I trade them. I didn't have to worry about anything. I just sort of turned up and trained the people, looked after them, and went about my business. But obviously, so that was a massive jump to come over here. And
they do that out there. Oh shit.
Yeah. Not really, but say they do. So that was the big jump. So I spent a bit. It took me a while. I was working here part time for a while as well. That's how it initially started. I was doing I was shadowing Joey in some classes, and done that for a bit, and then eventually I think I got a couple of classes, and then I got a client that I was training a couple of times a week, and then eventually I just. Made the move after a while, like sort of made sure it was the right time. And when I made the move, I was lucky enough that a few, I won't say how many, but a few of the clients from the old gym came with me. So that was a massive help. So just
they chose to come with you.
Yes.
Just in case your boss is listening.
Just in case he's listening, Ex-boss, yeah. They did. I didn't hold a gun to their head or anything. So that was a massive help, and that helped. That just really helped with the transition into working for myself.
I guess that's maybe just a quick thing to explain for the folks is that like there's different routes that personal trainers can take, right? So you can go and work for a studio or a gym where they pay you per hour and they give you the clients, and then they take a cut of what the client pays and you get a percentage of that. Or you can go work for a big gym like Fitness First or something where you pay a big rental fee to essentially run your business within the walls of their business.
Yeah.
And then I get like then there's what we have here, which is where you pay some rent to us, but essentially you're part of the gym here. You run some classes, but then you're also building your own business in here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room for evolution, isn't there?
There is, yeah, and it's obviously it's a lot more attractive, making that transition from working for somebody else to yourself. Just financially, it's a lot. It's it's a much. For me, coming in as a coach, it's a much better model, and you feel part. You're not just another like trainer in the gym, or you're not just another number. You're a part of the coaching staff here, a part of the family as such, and then obviously you're working on my own business on the side, which is like 80% of the work that I do in here is for myself. But in terms of coaching, but yeah, still like a massive part of the gym and the coaching staff here as well, which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
For people that don't know what PT is, what is it?
Personal training.
Personal training.
Yeah, it's the private coaching or the one-to-one stuff, or sometimes it's a small group thing. But it's a very necessary part of the product, isn't it? Because not everyone's interested in the class thing, and they might not like it from a social aspect, or they might feel inadequate, or perhaps they just prefer not to talk and they want to just come and train, or they want to do something specialized.
Yeah, there's definitely some people that just prefer to work solo as well. So I would say if you're too intimidated to work in a big group, or you're feeling like you're not quite up to general population level of health or fitness, and that environment's intimidating for you, PT is a really good place to start. And also, if you're time deficient or you need to travel to find a good coach, it might be a good idea to be working with someone one-on-one once or twice a week, and then training somewhere closer to home. So that works out well as too. Another scenario would be if you're an athlete or you've got very specific goals that don't necessarily get covered in a big group, then PT is a really good option there. So you can find a coach that specializes in what you like. What other scenarios are there?
Like
injuries?
Training for an event, whether it's like, this year I want to do city surf, or I'm getting married in November and I want to train towards that. Another specific goal.
Like specific goals.
Yeah, it's definitely just more centered around specificity. Like a lot of the people that I work with, when I think about it, are people that just aren't suitable to a class environment. Maybe they are now, but in the past, they've gone into a class environment and they've got hurt. And that is just because what they're doing is not, they might have, whatever, they've got a couple of niggly injuries or like a bad back, or maybe they're just weak in certain areas, and then that just gets found out in class. When they go into a situation in the class, and it can be a competitive environment a lot of times as well, and you sometimes whatever. You might just be the endorphins are running high, and you just give something a crack, and your body's just not able for it, and then they've got injured, and that's happened a good few of my clients, and then so I work with them, and we're working specifically on what it is they need. Whereas in the class, obviously like here, for example, the programming, like the majority of people are going to benefit highly from the programming that's in the classes here. But there is some cases where it won't be suitable because they need more work on certain areas, and I think that's where the PT comes in, or maybe they're just not getting enough. There's something that they're just like a certain movement that they're working on in class, and they just can't get it. They just don't have they're not getting enough exposure to it, in the 10-15 minute time cap that we're working on it in class. So they need to just
upskill just a little bit,
up the volume, up the volume, up the frequency, and that's where the PT can come in, and you can just spend, where if you're working on a clean, for example, or something, just for example, it might take somebody that's new to that movement. It might take them 4 or 5, sometime whatever. It might take them 6 weeks before they sort of get the hang of that movement. Where if you're working one-on-one with somebody, you're spending a lot more time on it. It just fast tracks the whole process, and they might get the hang of it in a week or two. So I think a lot of people use it for that reason.
I see it works really well too for a lot of people on the accountability side of things. So, you have people that have all the best intentions about training, and that happens here with gym members. And for whatever reason, maybe they're not feeling highly motivated at that time, and coming to the classes just doesn't give them enough accountability. Because if they don't show up to class, we'll get in touch with them generally. We'll notice after a week or two, but there's no immediate accountability for them not showing up. Whereas if they book in PT with you and they've got to meet you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, like there's strong accountability there because you're waiting for them and they've paid a premium price for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really valuable thing for people to realize because oftentimes you'll talk to someone about PT and, let's just say PTs are charging somewhere around $100, $110 an hour, some more, some less. But people will be like, oh, that's quite expensive. But if you consider what you would place as a value on your health and fitness and think, well, maybe if I invested in that for a few months with somebody, that might actually be the catalyst to get me into the habit where I'm then either comfortable to come to classes or I'm comfortable to go and train by myself, or maybe I keep seeing them once a week, like I drop it down. Yeah. It can be a really worthwhile investment. And I think that, it's a great tool for that.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there's lots of things that it's lots of things it'll suit lots of people. But yeah, they're probably the most cases that I work with anyway are people that just need a bit more specific programming and want to focus in on a more specific movement.
Headspace is a really important one too. There's some people getting into a big group of individuals can be really intimidating, especially if you're looking at everyone and they all look really healthy and fit and they're doing things you can't do. PT is a really good segue to build confidence, get you to a level of health where you feel less intimidated moving into a bigger group scenario.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but the thing you said about putting the value on accountability, I think has been such a powerful tool for us, even with our own education, just to invest some money into something and then it's like, right, okay, I've paid for this, and now the more something costs, in a way, the more effort you put into it. Yeah, which is when you first ran me through the psychology behind that whole scenario, I was like, holy shit, it totally makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, it's somewhat unfortunate, but it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems kind of fucked up, but you get something for free and you don't value it.
Don't see it through.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, okay, I got book 10 sessions. It's not a lot of training, and I'm going to fork up over $1,000. And it's like, okay, I got to make a conscious decision that I'm putting a value on my health, and now I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yeah, and then you find yourself eating a bit better. I'm sleeping, like I'm working harder on my sleep because you made that $1,000 investment. It's not just the hour. It's kind of the carryover to the rest of your life.
So true.
Yeah. And then you realize it's actually a very small price to pay,
right,
for a fucking quality of life.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly. I mean, the classic example is a premium cost gym like ours, where you're going to pay. It's going to cost you some thousands of dollars over a year to train at, or you can go to a 24-hour gym where you pay a handful of gold coins a week, and you don't show up for 18 months. Like you don't go there. Yeah. So people are like, oh, well, that's really cheap. That's good value. It's like, well, you didn't go. Like you actually didn't go. Like there's negative value there because you forked out for nothing. Yeah. Whereas here it's like you fork out, but man, you get a lot. You get a lot in exchange for that. Yeah. I think the other thing that's really important with the PT piece that we can often overlook as coaches, because for us it can be quite mechanical. It's like someone comes in, they have a goal. The goal is usually based around what they want from their training, or they want to change their body composition, or they want some accountability or whatever. But then you find when you're a bit deeper in the process with an individual, the training is happening and you're doing the stuff and everything's progressing, but you're then having these conversations that go much deeper than just the training. You're talking about lifestyle. They're talking to you about perhaps any difficulties they're having with their own mindset. Could be emotional things, like any mental things. And it's very easy to find yourself in a kind of mentor role with these people which I know for me personally, I really welcome, because I feel like I can add value to that person's life by, let's talk about whatever. Let me help you with some goal setting or that kind of thing. So you end up becoming more than just like a trainer, right? You're kind of coaching these people across a multitude of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
just being an ear,
to
someone to be able to talk to.
Yeah, and you end up developing really deep, deep rooted relationships with your clients, and you get to know them really well, and they become friends. It's you have some moments.
Fuck yeah, it gets emotional, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, get real emotional.
I was just thinking about that point of the paying, what you pay for, you value. I had this conversation with a fella that I met the other day. He had he was a real lefty, I guess. Lovely guy. And he had some very strong kind of lefty views. And he was, and I have some lefty, I guess I don't like to be conservative, so I try to be more left. But he was saying, I can't remember what we were talking. Oh, we were talking about. That's right. We're talking about Tony Robbins and these people that go around running these seminars or whatever, and you pay big bucks, and you go sit in a room full of people, and you get to listen to them for a day or 2 days, and and he was like, he was having a whinge about it. He's like, I reckon it's kind of fucked, because if those people are really passionate about what it is that they're teaching and wanting to help people, then they would give it for free.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I see your point, but I told him, I'm like, my job is to coach, and I have conversations with people every day about how I can help them. And I'll tell you what, I've given out that many fucking free programs, and I've given people golden nuggets of information, things that I've paid big money to learn in a conversation, but they disregard it. I'm like, but as soon as I package it up and make it a program and I sell it to them, then the person does the thing, and they get the value of the thing that I taught them. So I'm like, I like your idea, but I actually think it's flawed, because you can give people free information, but they're not going to use it.
Yeah, generally people don't. You have to make the investment.
Yeah, right. It's your commitment in. It was a tricky one, because I was like, I don't want to sound like a capitalist scumbag, but it doesn't work that way for most people. You could give them all the gold and all the the best information in the world, and it just gets lost.
So if you really care about the person, you have to do what it takes to actually have something stick with them. So that his theory might work, but it'll only work for a small percentage of people who are highly motivated or in a desperate situation where they have to take that advice.
Spot on.
But for the majority of people, they've come to you, or they're looking for that, and they need that push or that thing that motivates them, and money motivates, I guess.
Totally.
Well, it's a value, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the time and effort that you've put into something to get that, and then you've got to carry that over to something that you value. And
it's often I guess they don't, because at the beginning it's hard for them to see the value, but they need it. They know they need it, but they can't see it. But their language is money. Like, they see the value in money today, but they don't see the value in, hard work and reps or whatever it is. And hopefully they get that over the course of training with you, and then it's like, And
in the end, when you've invested a bunch of money and a bunch of time in your training, it's still much, much cheaper than what you're going to be paying if you don't. Sooner or later, you're going to pay. Sooner or later, you're going to be fucking...
Physios,
you're going to get physio, chiro, doctors, medication, operations, and all the other shit.
It's the mental health thing too,
rather than just investing in preventative medicine. And it's as simple as that. And it doesn't matter what scenario it is, and very, very few exceptions to this rule, but spending money on prevention is always cheaper than spending money on a cure. And the outcome is always better. Yeah. Always.
That's a nugget from the sustainability think tank right there.
That's fucking hell. Burn the rainforest down, or we're going to grow some fucking trees.
And if you really want to get the benefit
don't hate
from
on Bolsonaro, bro.
And if you really want to get the benefit from that little piece of
advice... Maybe a little bit conservative, so what? He's creating jobs over there in Brazil.
We need listers to send money through so they can actually action that bit of advice. That free nugget doesn't work otherwise. I was also saying, it's you say about the cost, that and it's not just monetary value as well. But the cost is in the health bills, in the
quality of life,
doctors. But it's also the mental health thing, I think, as well. So it's like, maybe you won't get injured or you won't get sick, but it's going to affect the quality of your life and your lifestyle and how you live it. And I'm looking to a crystal ball, but I've seen it around, and I think we all have, and it can affect relationships and stuff like that too, and your own self-esteem, more importantly, etc.
Especially when one partner gets real fit and the other one decides to sit on the fucking couch all day.
Yeah,
this is a money breaker. That
and
one.
then they start to fight against them. Like then it's like, I was going to come to the gym with you, but now that you're doing so well at the gym, I'm definitely not coming to the gym with you because fuck you.
The divides, the chasm starts.
Yeah,
it's a little crack in the.
Not good.
That's actually what PT. I've had that sort of experience as well with PT, and where it's like, oh, my husband's really fit, so this is me starting, and I hate when he says this, and
it's definitely when it's the male who's fit and it's the female that's starting the journey. That seems to be like quite okay. But when it's the opposite, when the female starts and she's making mad progress, the guy, like the ego gets crushed. They shut down. If you're a boyfriend or a husband of any of the females that train at Jungle Brothers, please come and introduce yourself to us. We're always open to meet you. We love you.
I'm the least intimidating person. I'd be happy to train people and bro down with them for sure.
Right.
Well, there's something I wanted to drop earlier with that. When we bring people into our classes, we actually make them do 3 personal training sessions, right? Because it's we see it as irresponsible to throw someone who's just come in off the street into a class format. We know nothing about them, nothing about their injuries, nothing about what they need, nothing about where their head's at. So those 3 hours that we get to spend with them allows us to assess all those things and then make a call. Hey, classes are good for you, or hey, let's spend a little bit more time together.
So the 3 classes, we've got the first one, which is a foundation, and I would this is advice to anyone who's looking for a PT out there, whether you're near Jungle Brothers or not, is that firstly, look for someone with a bit of experience. Make sure that they specialise in the areas that you have interest in, and make sure they screen you. And if they don't know how to screen, red flag, mate, back out.
Get out of there.
Back out, because how the hell is someone going to be able to fix you if they don't know what the hell's wrong with you to start? It's like going to a mechanic and put your car in the mechanic and then not even fixing it.
Well, they don't even ask you what the problem is.
They don't ask you what the problem is.
No, man, chuck new tyres on it, you're good.
Yeah.
Check the aircon when the engine's steaming.
That's right. So the screen is just checking your range of motion and your ability to stabilise. Very simple, low impact stuff. We're looking for imbalances in the body, left side to right side, front to back, that kind of stuff. Simple, effective, gives us a blueprint of how your body performs biomechanically. And then from the back of that, we can build some pre-habilitative exercises that help rebalance your framework before you start to build on it. And the next 2 sessions after that, one is for introduction to our bodyweight system, and the one after that is a barbell introductory session.
But and often, depending on what you find in the screen in the first session, it's going to influence how the next 2 sessions roll out as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Then after that, we relay that to all of our coaches in the gym, so each coach knows exactly what your profile is before you even hit the floor. They've got a fair idea of what they're dealing with before you actually start to train. So if your gym's not doing that, or your P doesn't do that, get out there, come to Jungle Brothers.
Yeah, it reminds me when I first went to the gym when I was, how old was I?
4?
Yeah. Benchies. Yeah, I'd like to do benchies. When this new gym opened up in Gladesville where I grew up, and it was like a gym of the future. It opened up next to the aquatic center, and it was
I went there.
Fucking huge, and it was like a big spaceship kind of place. Even thinking back now, it was wild, and I think it was like $1,000 a year. It was really expensive.
Yeah.
And I signed up. They had some intro memberships, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I remember going up into this huge weights area, and there was no one there except for this one massive Tongan guy called Pita. And he was about 140 kilos.
What was his name?
Of Pita, of pure muscle, right? And I met up with this personal trainer, and he's like, let me give you a program. And he just gave me a program. He's like, this is what you need. And it was benchies and some dumbbell flies and some fucking benchies and
yeah.
you know, all the stuff I wanted and needed, right? No screen, no conversation, no like anything, just here's a program. And then Peter was like, hey, you're the only other guy here. Let's train together. And he was a bouncer at Coogee Bay Hotel. And I was like, oh, okay. I couldn't even lift his fucking dumbbells. Like I'm trying to squat this guy. I couldn't even pick up the fucking dumbbells, man. And we're doing these crazy drop sets and shit. Like I couldn't even do push-ups. You know what I mean? It was so fun. Then he turned up one day and he had this massive slash down his arm. I'm like, what happened, bro? And he's like, oh, last night at work I got stabbed. And then I was just like, dude, we're not good training partners. I don't know if I can give you what you need. But I had the most unsuccessful journey there. I think I fucked around for about 6 or 8 months. And then I'm like, I'm going to cancel my membership, please. Yeah, like it was so ineffective. And I had that experience numerous times with different pitters around the place. And then, you know, and it's funny to look back and go, oh, how much time I wasted if I just found someone who could talk to me and tell me, hey, young man, I think this would be a good way for you to start. Here's what you should do. It would have been so much cooler and more efficient.
Fast track.
Yeah. Fruitful.
Oh, that reminds me that about the youths that we have coming in the gym as well. The young Joey Worthingtons out there.
I feel
it's
you,
funny
boys.
because we had like
I wasn't
a lot
born
of
this way.
we got a lot of parents who've brought their kids around, and we've had a few young teens
we got about
and a
10
couple
now.
that are turning
great.
16. Yeah, not quite, but
Timmy's not a young one anymore.
he started here, and look at him now.
Yep.
But yeah, we got a couple of young guys that I see as the young Joe. And I freaking love having them come in. 2 of the boys just joined class this week, both 16. And it's good. I love training them because I was training these guys one-on-one, and now they're joining classes. And I love helping the young fellas find their feet. There's obviously lots of people walking around in the gym. You know, they're adults first and foremost, but there's also some people that they look at like, holy shit, they're pretty intimidating. So I'm that guy that came up to young Joey, held his hand and gave him that program.
But you're
in another
the good
dimension.
guy.
I'm the good Tongan, not the...
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no, well, Peter wasn't bad. But
Good guy.
yeah, cool.
What's the strangest? I'll hit you up with this one, Az. What's the strangest PT like exchange you've ever had?
You mean like... Yeah, go on. That you're
Have
allowed
you
to
had
say
any?
on air.
Strangest one. God. Off the top of my head, I don't know, off the top of my head, I can just think of one of my clients breaking into tears during a session.
Oh,
just when we not from like training or anything, but when we were just having a chat, and she had some stuff going on, and then I don't know, whatever I said just triggered this response, and she basically just started bawling, crying. And she was just super, super busy with her work and her personal life, and she's running around after the kids, and just like she just hadn't stopped. I was actually suggesting that we do some. I was suggesting that we. I was trying to tell her or advise her to try and establish a breathing practice every day. So like a very short, like 5 to 10 minutes sort of thing. I said I think this will be really good for you. As we started to go deeper, and I like obviously I know her quite a while. I know she's really, really busy, and she was like, no, I don't need that. Like she's one of those. She's like, no, I don't need that. What are we doing next? Like sort of thing. And I was like, whatever. The conversation went the way it did, and then she just broke into tears, and she just said like, I'm just so busy. I'm just like just overwhelmed. So yeah, that's the one that sticks out from just off the top of my head. But there's been many, but I can't put me on the spot a little bit. I can't really.
I've had that before.
That's
actually.
the one. That's the one that's coming to me.
Exercise.
What's your best one, Tim?
Oh, I got a couple.
But it is. Yeah, it happens with exercise, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you've got all of that built up like pressure when it can manifest in. Like the physical and the mental and the rest of it and life stuff. And then all of a sudden, just that little bit of movement can just release that pressure valve and it all comes out.
Especially because like often,
It's a bit vivid.
with with training, with training,
That's funny because it makes me think of
just because training's challenging. It's like the way you set it out and the program's there.
And
so
it's stress.
So it's stress on the body.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we're trying to keep them adequately stressed, but keep it, manageable.
Keep it real.
So it's measured little dosages of stress.
Yeah.
And when people have a lot of stress and they've got these challenges facing and we're asking a little bit more of them, we're teetering on that line and the levy often breaks. Like it's not uncommon is what I'm saying to listeners. And it's kind of normal in a way. I haven't had any experience like that exactly, but you have.
I've had a couple of strange exchanges. I had one girl pass out doing an standing overhead press. She fainted, but she fainted and her body went into like this proprioceptive mode. It was really strange. Like she pushed the bar above her head and she was just standing there with the bar above her head, barbell above her head, a bit of weight on it. And then her eyes rolled back into the back of her head. And then she just kind of passed out. But as the body was rolling around or moving around, it was balancing on its own.
Holy shit. Like she didn't
I got
collapse.
my hand in front of her face and I was waving it like, hello, you okay? And there was no response. So I had to
lock out.
Yeah, I walked her over. Oh, no, I lowered the barbell down and then walked her over to a bench and sat her on the bench. And then she opened her eyes.
She still have her arms up over her head?
I took the bar out of the hands to kind of pry it a bit. And then, and she was like...
Wow.
Yeah, it was really strange.
Wasn't an epileptic fit?
I don't know what it was.
Because I know they have those ones sometimes where they freeze.
But when she opened her eyes again, she was sitting on the bench and she was like, oh, what the hell just happened then? She was looking around. It was kind of strange. Yeah.
Fuck.
That's crazy.
That's scary.
Another one. Now, this wasn't me, mind you. So there was a guy that I know, PT, but this fella used to pay him to watch him train.
Oh.
Say
I
what?
know. Pay him to watch him train.
That wasn't...
Dude would just sit and watch.
He would just follow. Yeah, just so he would train and he would just pay to watch it.
Hang on.
Yeah, this wasn't me.
Hang on.
I know a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would pay him to watch him train. It was really bizarre. It was strange. But he took the money because...
Fuck, fair's fair.
I'm sure he's paying him probably a lot.
Well, got bills to pay.
Yeah.
I had a girl when I worked at Anytime Fitness, this British girl, and she came in, she's like, yeah, I want to lose weight and whatever, I got a thing coming out. I was like, cool, I can help you, and she was like, cool, let's get started. We're going to do 2 sessions a week and it's going to be like super intense. You can help me lose all this weight. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm like, it's not really what I'm about, but I can help you, So she came into the first session and she's like, just so you know, I can't sweat today because I've just had my makeup done and I've had my hair done and today I can't sweat. So we just have to keep it not sweaty. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be tricky. So I managed it and she still got a bit sweaty, but, whatever. Then the next session, it took this really kind of... She made our relationship take this kind of... I don't know what the word is. Almost like I was the dominant one and she was like the submissive one. She kind of... shaped it like that, and then we did a few sessions and she'd be like, she'd come in again with her hair done and whatever, and I'm like, look, you can't we can't really work properly if you're always getting your hair done and your makeup done and stuff, And then I remember she was doing an exercise one day and she's like looking at me and she's like, you love seeing me sweat, don't you? Like, you just love making me work hard. And I was like, it was like she was trying to make it sexual or something, and I'm like, I just don't like being around you at all. I was like, and I was really trying to be cool. And then I was like, that's not going to work out. I think you should find another trainer. You're a real ball breaker. Yeah. And she was like, well, I didn't think you were very good anyway. And I was like, fuck, all right.
And that happened.
Leave me a 5-star review. Yeah, that was
that was the end.
That was the end. We did 3 sessions.
So for listeners out there, you're going to find different PTs with different styles, and we have a variety of them here.
We've got 9 trainers here.
9 coaches all
9 coaches.
Yeah.
All specialising in different areas. Maybe you can talk about your specialisations, Aaron. I know you've got your business that's kicked off.
Can we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're just fucking snoring then, bro. don't think I didn't notice that big yawn.
I've had a big morning.
Rubbing his eyes.
Big morning. You're overworking me.
You said it's your own business, then.
So I guess you'd say that I specialize in strength and mobility. That's mainly what I'm.
What's the name of it?
Mainly what I'm around. The name of my business is Move Strong Training. So
.com.
.com.au, yeah. So it's actually the web, yeah, online it's movestrong.sydney.com.au. Yeah, so that's I guess my training style, or like the style that I implement with my clients. But yeah, so it says it in the name, really. Like my intention for the most part is to improve people's mobility and their movement capacity first, and then build strength on top of that. And that's in an ideal scenario, like that's what I'll aim to do. Obviously, if somebody comes to me and which they have done and say they want to lose 20 kilos, then I don't take that approach. I'll still screen them and make sure that they move well, but obviously I'll take a different approach to the training. But that strength, strength and mobility is the style that I like to implement. Yeah. And
what made you choose those two particular topics for you?
So similar to a lot of people that sort of end up doing the movement thing. I was training when I started the gym. Maybe it was around 16 when I started. Like or 17. I was fairly late to it, I think, and wasn't all that into it really at the start. I was just doing it to sort of help my, to get stronger and to sort of, it was to make me better, like a better athlete when I was playing football. So that's what it was for. It was just about getting bigger and stronger. And
when you say football, are you talking soccer?
I'm talking Gaelic football.
Football.
Yeah.
How's that game work? Just in a nutshell?
Like the easiest way that I could explain it is that it's pretty similar to AFL.
Right.
Yeah, to people who'll be listening to this, it's pretty similar.
Similar shaped ball or round ball?
No, it's a round ball, but it's like catch and kick. There's goalposts, but it'll be like it's like a rugby post. So you've got a net on the bottom, and you've got so you can
it's like
score.
Soccer goals with like extended uprights.
Yeah, or rugby posts.
A rugby post with a net underneath.
A rugby post with a net. Yeah, that's what the goalposts are. So if you kick it over the bar, it's 1 point. If you score a goal, which will be below the bar, that's 3 points.
And they have a goalie.
They do. Have a goalie. So it's similar but very different to AFL. The similarities are like it's catch kick. It's very physical. There's a lot of running.
Can you kick it? Can you kick it like along the ground like a soccer ball as well?
Yeah. You can do that, but you won't do that for very long because someone will just come along and mow you down. So you have to. But you can do that. Yeah, it's pretty.
Tackling.
Yeah, you're tackling. Tackling, you can't pull people to the ground like you can in AFL, so you can't sort of
drag them, hold them up or something.
In AFL, you can grab them around the arms. The aim is to sort of trap the arms, and then they have to release the ball, basically. Or if they get brought to the ground and they haven't released the ball, then it's a turnover. That's an AFL. But in Gaelic, you can. Tackling wise, you can shoulder somebody shoulder to shoulder, but if it's shoulder to chest, then it's a foul.
Well, I mean, fuck, if you're going for the shoulder and you just happen to fucking shoulder charge him in the face, right?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. But
is there cheap shots like AFL?
Oh yeah. It's a very physical game, especially at the high level. There's an awful lot of off the ball stuff, so a massive amount of that.
I love that aspect of AFL.
Yeah,
I love that off the ball.
Yeah, shit. AFL used to be, for me, it used to be a lot more
argy-bargy than it is now.
Yeah, like it's died down a lot, and
all
even
sports have.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, and Gaelic, they have actually.
Bring back the beef.
Bring back a bit of that physicality. Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit's good. But what were we talking about before?
Talking about your journey through your football, and you started at the gym.
So I started. So I started at the gym just to improve my football, basically. And then I was doing that for a little while, and I then started having problems with my hips. So that went on for a couple of years. I played on regardless of the issues that I was having. I was basically having just a lot of pain and tightness in my hips, I'd pull up really, really sore after games. So I'd play a game I remember when it was sort of at its worst, I'd play a game on a Sunday, and then we'd normally train Tuesday, Thursday, and then have a game we'd have a game every Sunday morning. But when it was at its worst, I would play the game on the Sunday, wouldn't be fit to train because I literally couldn't move. I'd be in so much pain for the few days after the match, and then it would start to settle down, and sort of by Friday, Saturday, I'd be sort of good to go again, and I'd play again on Sunday, and then I just done that for like a full season. And then after that season, I was like, right, I have to get this looked at. Got it looked at, and I needed surgery on it. So I was around 20 at the time. And
that's pretty scary for a 20-year-old.
Yeah, it was a shock. It was a shock, yeah, because I mean, obviously I knew there was something wrong, but I was hoping that it was just, something that could be fixed by, at the
Modern
time I was
medicine.
like, going to a physio, or like, just getting a diagnosis and then doing whatever I had to fix it. But he was like, your hip's in a bad way. Basically, I had extra. It was a hereditary thing, so I had extra bone on the top of my femur, and then I was playing so much sports. Like growing up, I was playing for the school team, my club. I was playing a bit of county football at underage level, which is like, the equivalent of, say, playing with the Sydney Swans Academy, that sort of thing. Like it'd be that level. So I was doing a bit of that when I was younger, and just had a massive amount of like load put on my body, and basically that coupled with the hip problems that I was having, just ended up ripping my hip to bits. Basically, the cartilage was just torn to shreds, and there was this extra bone on top of the femur. So basically the surgeon was like, we have to, he said, your left hip is in a really bad way. That needs to be done like straight away if you want to, if you want to get back playing, basically. And I was in so much pain. I was just like, all right, like let's do it. Yeah. And then he said the right one is not great either. He said you'll need that done at some stage. He says it might be next year. It might be in 5 years' time, but you'll definitely need it done at some stage. So then I was like, all right. So I ended up getting the two of them done within a year of each other. So I had the first one done. I went away traveling, lived in California for a few months, came back, got the other one done straight away, and then rehabbed that. And then I got back playing. I was back playing football within, say, a year of the first one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then so I went
feeling good?
Yeah, feeling really good. I remember waking up. I mean, obviously I was on painkillers, but like when I went home, the pain was just gone. Like it was unreal. It was a massive relief. I remember just waking up and just being like that, because it was a constant pain, and it was just gone. I was like, this is brilliant. And then, so then it was sort of after that I changed my thinking on training, because before that I'd been just doing what everyone was doing, what every 16, 17, 18-year-old sort of does when they first start at the gym, is just doing the bodybuilder thing. So
benchies,
tricep extensions. On
tricep kickback. That was an old
tricep
favorite. Kickback,
seated rows,
crush,
lat pull downs, all that good stuff.
Leg press.
Oh, you're a man.
Leg press, yeah. And so then I was like, right, well, I need to. I started seeing that I was doing my body a disservice, because I was loading it up when it shouldn't have been loading up. I was squatting like pretty big weights when I didn't have the prerequisites to squat without a weight. So. So they just got me thinking, and then I obviously wanted to, looking ahead to the future, I wanted to be able to play football and not have to get another hip surgery, and not have arthritis when I'm 30, which was what the surgeon said as well. He said you'll have arthritis very early in your life. So I was just like, well, what can I do to try and prevent this, or like at least put this off as far as I can down the track. So that's what led me into this sort of body weight training. And the whole, mobility thing. So I started to research a bit, started to, stumble across a few people who were sort of teaching this stuff, and then read up on it a bit, educated myself, and then, just gradually learned about, attended a few workshops then eventually, and just learned the methods, from a bunch of coaches around the world, and that's really what inspired me to get into that style of training, just to look after myself initially, and then I obviously seen a massive that had a big effect on me. Like it obviously, my body was feeling great, my mobility was improving. I was completely bored with, as well as it, not doing my body any good. I was just completely bored with the the bodybuilder approach to training. And I fell out of like love with training. I used to, like, I wouldn't be looking forward to going to the gym. So so it just took a different route, and I was like, this is just a great. I love the minimalist approach to it as well, where you didn't need much equipment. You could sort of do it at home. You could do it down the park. I just love that whole approach to it, and then obviously I seen the benefits of it then when I started practicing it, and then a little bit further on from that, then I decided to get that it was something that I wanted to do and I wanted to share with people. So I got my qualifications, and then I started teaching people about these methods.
Very cool, man. I like your story, and I like how you can see your journey with what you're passionate about when you're coaching people. I think that's really cool, and I think that's why you're successful as a coach, largely. Because there's no bullshit there. It's like, hey, this stuff I'm teaching you, this is what I'm using, this is what I'm going through. Yeah, and you're sharing that sort of that journey with people.
Yeah, and it's a massive, it's a big problem with a lot of like I would say between that 16 to 20, that was sort of when things started to go south for me. And up until that point, like, I'd just been playing so much football, and I think that's the same for like every kid that's into ball sports these days. They just
fuck the body up, man.
Yeah, they just run them into the ground because there's just so much expected of them. They've just been like playing for multiple teams. Obviously, they're not. At that age, you're not strong either. So it's like, you're just breaking. They're just breaking down the body again and again and again, not getting enough. And then it's like they're playing for these teams, training, playing matches, and then in the free time, it's like they're still running around after a ball. So like they're just running around the whole time, which is great, but there's nothing in place. The thing I've noticed is like there's nothing in place to counteract all that load that's been put on young athletes. It's not until they get a little bit older and they start to hit the gym and start to get into the strength and conditioning that then people, will start to talk about, injury prevention and all that. But really that stuff should be done a lot earlier.
And even then, bro, I mean, fuck, we've worked with, high-level coaches or high-level athletes. Man, most of them, they don't know fucking shit about
nothing,
like prehab or mobility.
No.
The coach is just trying to make them as strong and as powerful as they can for the few years they have them, and then they break them and they ship in new recruits.
It's all about performance.
Yeah, because I think it's almost too big a problem. Well, it's not. There's a lot they can do, but I think that the way they look at it is like, well, fuck, I don't fucking know what to do. We got a game this Saturday. That's what I'm focused on. I don't give a fuck about Aaron's hips at the end of the season.
Yeah.
It's like we got to win this game.
Yeah.
So let's train hard.
Yeah,
and there's always someone ready to take that athlete's spot once they're gone.
Yeah,
exactly. Like a conveyor belt. And by the time they're getting to that stage where they're talking about injury prevention, it's no longer injury prevention, it's injury management. And by that time, again, it's too late.
Yeah, the damage has been done. Yeah,
I have this sort of conflict that I think about a lot in my mind because I grew up playing soccer as well.
Yeah,
and I really value it, and it gave me so many things. Big quads was one of them, but it was awesome. Paul and I played together for years, and it coordination and athleticism and all those things.
Yeah.
And I had a few injuries over the years that were, not great, but they weren't catastrophic. But I've seen so many people around me go down to ball sports. And I've seen it happen in teenagers. I've seen it happen more so in the like 30 plus range where it's a catastrophic injury, like it's a torn ACL or it's a snapped Achilles or it's a, you fucking slip discs in your back or whatever.
Oh man, I hate it.
Mate, but I have this real thing because my ethos,
lots of friends
like my ethos, right, is that like Paul and I played casual, like social soccer for years, and the amount of dudes you see go down like they've been sniped from fucking 5 blocks away. They're just running and they're
no one near them.
That's a really good piece of advice. If you have had more than 5 years off your sport, don't fucking go back on the field.
No, man.
You
don't deserve to. But here's my dilemma with it is that I believe that in many ways our body is not perfectly designed but very well designed for the environment we evolved in, right? This is part of the Jungle Brothers ethos.
Yeah.
So it evolved to do some incredible things: run, climb, jump, hunt, fucking fight, whatever, lift things. But ball sports, and in a way, a game of soccer represents some of that. You know, it's dynamic. Things are changing direction. You're sprinting. You're generating
diving.
force. You're diving, right? Right, or a game of football. But the nature of the ball, because you can kick a projectile, which is the ball, and the ball whips past you, and you change direction, and then you're doing that, and then there's 10 players on their side that are also doing that. So you have this natural stuff, which is the running and changing direction, but the speed at which the dynamicism takes place is unnatural because of this projectile, because you're chasing this ball around the field. So then the collisions are unnatural because they're coming in at vectors that you're not prepared for. So I'm like, should we be incurring injury? Like, if our body is evolved to do incredible things, should we not be safe? Like, should a strong mobile individual not be capable of playing soccer for 20 years and not sustaining too many catastrophic injuries? Or is that activity actually too demanding given the base? This is the argument I have, and I don't know.
It depends, I guess, because it's play, you know.
Some people are built for it and some aren't.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
Yeah. Some people will get away with it, and then you'll have a bunch of people, you know, some people like myself that you know won't get away with it. Now, obviously, I had a hereditary injury, which would have come up at some point if I wasn't playing football all those years. It would have come up eventually. But just like my brother, for example, plays Gaelic football as well, and he plays at the highest level. He is 21 at the moment, 21 now, and he plays at the high level, and just the workload that is put on him is insane, and it's and there's very little done. Like, obviously he does the strength and conditioning and all that, which is great, but the ratio of that work that he does in comparison to, like, you know, all the running and all the, you know, like just the competitiveness and all the stress of that really competitive environment. I don't think it's enough to, you know. Yeah, I think it's like I said, some people will get away with it. You know, there's like a stronger individual will probably be less likely to incur injury. But yeah, there's so much more we could be doing with younger, especially like people of that age and younger. Just putting the foundations in place so that they're capable of actually taking, their bodies are able to take that load.
Yeah, more nurturing.
Well, when Joe's like, should they or shouldn't they? Like, I think that's where the screening comes in, and I think that. A lot of sports and sports institutes and stuff needs to have a screening process implemented.
If we were screening, there'd be no motherfuckers out on the pitch.
You
know, sorry guys, not today.
But I think there's people trying to do that. I mean, they're doing that now more. I think I've heard that they're doing it more in, you know, the professional leagues, and it's filtering down. I know I was listening to Gray Cook. He's the guy who founded the FMS and stuff. He was
functional movement
screen. And he's sending that one. He's implementing that in a lot of schools over in the States, and he's really trying to rally to put these screens in schools. That's like one of his main missions, because he sees it's generational.
A screen being the assessment. Assessing mobility, balance, the strength that T was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's right. So it's just seeing if they're capable. Because he was working with young people. He sees it happen in the same way that we're saying. It's pretty historical. School, then after school, then you get fucked up. So he's trying to push that in. And then I think that, you know, in the higher leagues, in the NRL, the NFL, they're starting to bring screenings in because it's big money as well. So I know there's certain things, tests that for people who aren't built for that sort of performance.
If you score well in the screen, then if your body's is biomechanically sound, then you're a good investment.
Yeah.
The chance of injury are much lower. But if you're perform badly in a screen, and then it's like, okay, you're an injury hazard. I'm not going to put my money into this guy because he's going to spend half his fucking season off the field.
And even if, say for instance, hypothetically, Gladesville Ravens, who we used to play
Shout
for.
out. Hey, boys.
Malakas.
Is that your football team?
That's who we played for.
This is who we played for together. But like if they had a screening system
Do you
now...
think they have podcasts out there?
out there.
I grew up there, motherfucker. Yeah, go on.
And then you moved to Bondi, then everything west of Paddington was westy. Truth. But like, even if they had a screen there now, and you're like, your knees are caving in, valgus, you're weak, blah, blah, blah. and you had all these people that athletic, probably people can get injured anyway because the sport is crazy. It's crazy. People are running in on a lateral angle. Yeah, it's
An interesting thing on that. We had I've been talking with a head of a PE department of a private school nearby, or not that nearby here. I think it's about an hour away, 45 minutes away. Georges River Grammar. But they reached out, and the PE teacher was like, "Hey, I've been following what you're doing at Jungle Brothers, and I really like your approach. I've got, like 100 odd kids over a few different years at our school in our PE program, and I think they would really benefit from what you guys are doing." And he said, "We're just seeing now that kids are less and less equipped to play sport."
Good on them.
Yeah, right. And I mean, we've seen this with our younger members. Kids now, on the whole, are not what they were 20 years ago, because a kid can be 16 now and have never, like, they don't skateboard around on the street, they don't go down to the park and kick a ball around, because they can study or they can play on a computer or fucking iPhone or whatever. So you're getting these kids who are immobile, uncoordinated, lacking body awareness, and this is not a derogatory thing. This is just what our environment is doing to young people.
And confidence.
But also they don't know it, right? So then they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go join the rugby team," and then you get fucking snapped. And it's like, and this coach, like Pita, yeah, right. Yeah, that's right, yeah, Pita's son, yeah, that's right, his son, 110 kilos, just turned 13, just eating fucking taro and roast chicken every day. He's just like a hungry dog.
And Peter's son's riding a skateboard and a bicycle to school.
Yeah, and eating barbells.
He uses the skateboard to scoop out his ice cream. But that's the thing, right? So these kids are like ill-equipped. And so for this guy to go, "Hey, we need actually someone who can come in from the outside who can help build some body awareness and some coordination and stuff," I was like, that's so cool. And it's so interesting and cool for us. I'm going to go speak with him next week and visit the school.
That's really cool.
Really cool, right? But it's like, fuck, how many kids can you think of? Like, talking about your two young boys that you're coaching, Paul.
Yeah.
But, like, they're kind of in that category, right? Like, there's some physical development to take place there, so that these people can then go and enjoy things that we enjoyed growing up and hopefully not sustain long-term injuries.
Yeah.
So what's your process when you get someone coming to you that's injured and not moving so well?
If somebody comes injured, I mean, I always run them through the screen first. That's like, that's first. That's always first on the list. And yeah, obviously, same as, you're just looking for stuff that's that's not moving well, or that's, any weaknesses or imbalances. So I always do that, and that's always the first session. And I always just say, like, this is not a training session. Like, this is just, we're just going to have a look at you and just assess your body and see how everything's moving. And then from there, obviously, depending on what they want to work on, then we set them up with the program. So if they want to lose weight, then obviously the emphasis is going to be on in intensity and not so much on mobility. But even still, I'll often sort of sprinkle a little bit of that stuff in there, like if I can. But yeah, obviously if they want to lose weight, then the focus is switched a little bit, and I'll prescribe exercises that are suitable for the movement capacity that they do have. And then if somebody, it just depends on the individual. Whatever they want to work on. If they want to get stronger, then that's the emphasis. If they want to get more mobile, that's the emphasis. If they want to work on skills like handstands or whatever, or ring work, then we just focus on that stuff. But I'll always educate them on, like, my philosophy, which is, like, there you have to, like, I believe anyway, and I always try and educate them on that, that you have to move well first, or you should, at least. You should be able to move well first, and you have to have like sound mechanics, and yeah, you have to be able to perform, basic movements well, and then once you can do that, then we can get strong. But that's like when we're training, there's always, I give them a little bit of what they need, and then I give them a little bit of what they want as well. because what they need is obviously what they really need, but they are obviously in here to get a result. So I do put that first. So it's whatever their intention is, whatever their goals are, then the program will be set up to to get them there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Program or not to program? With your PTs.
What do you mean?
Program.
Would you, as a coach, do you program or not program?
I program. I mean, they all look different. They all look different.
They'll look different, but I think it's so important. You have to have a process. I mean, I see merit in people who don't like to program in their approach, but personally, I think you have to have a process because it gives you some accountability as well. You can go, look, we've done this thing consistently for a period of time, and it has produced a result. The result is X and Y. Did it work well? Yeah, I think it was okay. Could we do better? Maybe. Let's try on the next program. But it's something to go back to.
Yeah, you need that reference.
Yeah.
If you don't know where you've been, you can't dictate a course on where you're going.
Yeah. You almost didn't get that out.
I know.
Yeah.
But programming for me as well, always. I think if your PT is not programming for you or just winging it, you need to ask yourself a couple of questions, or them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's essential.
I think that in the gym, when I think about it, maybe I'm wrong, you're probably the coach here that trains the most diverse range of people.
Yeah.
Because you've got some, really elderly
Oh, you got
people.
Val.
I got Val.
Val's
Yeah.
such a lovely woman.
And then you've got like...
How old's Val?
She's 74.
Right on.
Yeah.
Maybe even 75. I think she's 74 now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And then you've got some beasts, you're training with Mark and you're just doing like great upper body ring work and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got like some journeymen, and there was a really cool post that you had with ads and stuff recently.
Yeah. Yeah, massive
he's
mixture
kicking
of
goals. Yeah, it's a
massive
good
mixture of clients, yeah.
And all of them are getting good results.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, yes. Some people that are like, I have a few people that as I said at the start of the podcast, they have been in that class situation and they've just got injured, and not out of here, but out of another gym, and they've just been injured and the class thing wasn't for them, and they've come in and since that, like they're way stronger and they're way more capable of just like day-to-day life. Like they're not going to the physio as much, not going to the chiro as much. Like I have a couple who train with me, and the two of them have had like serious back injuries, and I was only talking to one of them this morning, and she just said like the difference that the training has made. She's training with me. She's training with me about a year, so she's she was just saying that her back, like she used to have to go to the chiro. I think it was a chiro she went to. She used to go to the chiro like sort of every second week. She'd be going to get adjusted, and like anything would throw her back out. Like could be, just anything would throw it out. And we used to get thrown out so often at the start when we started training. But it wouldn't be in our sessions. It would be like when she's at home, like unloading the doing whatever. And she just had to go to the chiro all the time. And she just said to me this morning just how good her back is feeling, and she hasn't been to the chiro in ages. And she's just so much stronger in her core. She said her core was just so weak before she started, and now she's just way stronger and just way more capable. And she's up on the rings doing stuff on the rings now. She's doing chin-ups, she's doing skin the cats. We have her squatting now. Like before, I remember when she started training with me, she was scared to squat. She told me that she could only squat with a Bosu ball on her lower back. So like
against the wall.
Yeah, that was the only squat that she could do.
Fuck.
Oh, wow.
That's what she was told by the chiro or the physio or whatever. And
obviously a high-level specialist.
so we've done that for a little while, and then slowly transitioned. And now she's squatting. She's doing really, really well. So there's a lot of people like that, and then you have the likes of Val, who came to me to lose a bit of weight. No, don't call her your one. She's elderly woman. That's not acceptable.
Oh,
no.
okay, sorry. I haven't.
Show some respect, bro.
Just Val.
Pardon me. Just Val. Stepped over a line.
Your one is just for like.
What's that for?
It's just for
a girl.
Yeah.
A young girl.
Yeah. Young girl. You know your one.
Yeah, one. Yeah, I know one.
Not Val though. She just came to lose a bit of weight, and she's lost 20 kilos. But that was an interesting one, because when she started training with me, she was 73, and she was very overweight, and she obviously needed to lose the weight. She had high blood pressure and all the rest of it. and started training with me. And she's lost 20 kilos, and she's still over, like she is still overweight, but obviously she's lost a massive amount of weight. And it's sort of tricky with her because you know, you don't want to, like, she's 73 years old, like you can't, she likes going, she lives at home. Her husband passed away a few years ago. She lives at home by herself. She goes out with she has a good few friends. She goes out for lunch with her friends, and she goes out on the weekend for breakfast with her friends and all that. She goes to the movies. She's a big movie fan. So she likes going out and having a coffee and getting a cake and, you know, getting some popcorn at the cinema, and she's, you know, having a glass of wine or whatever. Like, she likes all that stuff. So obviously, you know, I think that's great. Obviously, a woman of her age deserves to, you know, do what she wants. Yeah. So I was like, so, you know, she wants to lose the weight, but then on the other hand, you know, you have to sort of get that balance right between, like, you know, not making her, just allowing her to enjoy those things as well, which we've done. So obviously the weight loss has been, you know, not that fast, but
I'm
but
sure
she's lost 20
kilos.
So
her life
massively,
like 20 kilos, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not all about perfection in becoming a health and fitness aficionado, right? Or like, it's like, yeah, cool. Like, you want to do that stuff, that's fine. Come train a couple of days a week. Let's try to maintain some kind of balance relative to you.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's super cool. I mean, she, you know, when she's in here, she's smiling, she's having a great time. So you squatting. She was squatting yesterday to the box. Her squat's getting better. It's like, man,
like
awesome.
we just work on basic stuff. We're working on her balance at the moment as well. So because her balance isn't that good. She actually just recently had a knee replacement. She always had a trouble with both her knees, and she had a knee replacement about 6 months ago. And so yeah, she's been back in training a while now, and she's squatting now to like just about to parallel. So, you know, sort of like the height of a chair sort of thing. Like, that's what we're working on. But she's getting really strong in that range. So it just means that she can get up and, you know, get up and sit down and stand back up again off a chair, you know, with no problems, not having to hang on to anything, and you know, get in and out of the car a lot easier, and just basic stuff just to make her life a bit more comfortable. And then you have other guys then, like Mark came to me, and he was he's around 40ish, really busy guy, has his own business, like really successful business. Was out of training for a while, like, 'cause he had kids and stuff. He was out of training for ages, and he wanted to get back into it, and get back into it he did. And now he's he's showing me up now. But he's a weapon. He's made unreal progress. So that's really cool. And then you've got Adam in to lose a bit of weight and get a bit stronger, which he's done, lost 20 kilos. He's come such a far way. So it's so cool seeing people, you know, come in. And it's not the other thing as well is that we spoke about the investment earlier on, like it is a massive investment, and it doesn't happen overnight, you know. It's it is a journey, but you see them at the end of the journey, and they're happy out, like, you know, he's a new man, and you know, they all are, they've all come on so much. So yeah, it's really cool to see that.
Full credit to the coach.
Full credit.
It's cool, man.
Awesome.
Brother, as we're going to wrap it up there, boys. As maybe you could give a little shout out where people can reach you. I think maybe you have a program kicking off soon. If people want to get involved, give us a little spiel. Yeah,
I've got a little 28-day challenge kicking off soon. It's going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks. It's going to be training. It's going to be in a semi-private group. Going to be training 4 times a week. I've got morning time slots and evening time slots. So, you know, if you prefer to train in the morning or evening or both, you can jump on either. And then we've got a session on the Saturday as well. So that's going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks. So yeah, if you're interested in jumping on that, you can get me on Facebook at Move Strong Training. You can get me on Instagram as _Howley.
Spell that out.
AZ_HOWLEY. Or you can get me in the gym.
Nice, and we'll tag up your accounts, obviously, in the post on Instagram for this.
Cool.
Man, thanks for coming on.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, there's more to explore there, but we can say that for another episode down the track.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Good to have you guys.
Thanks, Paulie.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Cheers, T.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.